White culture superior to black culture in every single goddamn way. When you hear black people say white people don't have any culture, what they're really trying to say is black culture is superior to ours. So let me get this straight. You think mumble rap, skinny jeans, twerking, obnoxious women, friendly fire, and welfare is superior to getting educated, making breakthroughs in science, technology, and medicine, spending a lifetime mastering your craft, and then building civilizations? What the fuck is wrong with your motherfucking brains, yo?
You do realize you used a hip-hop song as the background music in your anti-black culture video, right? You fucking moron. Anyway, let me tell you something from a position of actual lived experience, because clearly you're hiding in some little white town in the middle of nowhere cowering in fear of black people. I've lived in literally the whitest major city in all of America, and I currently live in one of the blackest major cities in all of America, and the neighborhood I live in is quite literally like a 50-50 split, white and black. It would be your worst nightmare, apparently. Now that that's been established, let me say this very clearly. Black culture, so much better than white culture. It's not even fucking close. And no shade to Portland. Portland's a beautiful city, but Atlanta is just different. It feels alive. It's got vibrance. White culture is just like a fucking hospital bed flatline by comparison. It's the reason why pop culture is so dominated by black culture. It's because it's popular, hence the word pop. And here's the other thing. I have been the only white person in a room full of black people so many times in Atlanta, Georgia, and you know how many times the black people in those rooms have made me feel uncomfortable for being white? 0 fucking times. Find me a black person who's never felt threatened by a room full of white people. I'll wait. On this narrative of like, oh, white people have only created great things and black people have only destroyed them. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit. Go read a book besides Mein Kampf, you piece of shit. Anyway.
So why does black culture lead global culture? Black people say they want our rhythm, but not our blues. But a mentor once told me that your pain becomes your power. So maybe y'all have got rhythm because you've had your blues. Born from chains and pain, rhythm came from struggle. It's not just style, it's survival. The world moves with it because it feels true. And in Korea, we know that kind of pain too. We were colonized, invaded, divided. The Japanese, for example, took our land, our names, our voices, even our daughters. They turned them into sex slaves for their soldiers. Generations carried that shame in silence until that silence learned to sing. It became K-pop. Trauma turned into triumph. A nation healing through harmony. Hip-hop, K-pop, different stories, same truth. Pain gives birth to power, suffering to sound. Without the blues, there is no rhythm.
Black people are the cool. They
make things cool.
They're the culture drivers of America without
Cultural
question.
filters.
In some ways, I guess that's, you know, maybe ancient Greece. What's democracy if not the original hip hop? How everything filtered out from that. Kind of, you know, the same way.
Love it when you call me Big Son.
The same way music's been taking from black people forever. Everyone's kind of been taking our shit between philosophy and democracy.
Hi everyone. Welcome and welcome back on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about one of the videos that have been trending on the internet. Have you seen someone talk with so much confidence about a community that they don't completely understand, just to realize like a moment later that they underestimated the people they were talking to? That's the video that we're going to talk about today that has the internet, you know, talking. In this video we are going to look at a conversation that completely took a turn on the internet as a white man made comments directly at the black Americans of their culture, and which have maybe started as a way of challenging or criticizing black Americans. So, you know, became an opportunity of education. He was educated and confronted with facts, historical context of the black culture that he appeared to overlook. But again, this video is not about attacking anyone or celebrating someone's embarrassment. It's actually seeing the importance of knowledge and respect and listening before making assumptions about people and their experiences. You know, conversation about culture, history, and identity can easily become emotional, but also they can even turn into powerful learning moments if maybe with approached, you know, with respect and with so much honesty and open mind. Again, I think we always have to approach this kind of discussion with so much grace and also with so much knowledge and wisdom and respect, because obviously that's something that, you know, it's so personal. When you talk about someone's culture, it's actually personal. It's part of people's identity. Be sure to watch until the end, because these exchanges raise many important questions about cultural awareness, respect, and learning to even understand culture and everything before speaking with so much certainty. And as we continue to go through this video, I want you guys to know that this is for education purposes. This is for awareness, like there's nothing else. It's just for about education. And so let's dive straight into the video, and then I'll come back with the comments.
Black women created modern Western culture. In Western culture, Black women's innovations are often treated as public domain, like Wikipedia. It's absorbed into mainstream media and spit out into dollars and cents until the original source is either forgotten or refined by other people for profit. So it's always been fuck ICE. As a former undocumented immigrant, I still do remember the original people that have been abused by police for over 100 years. So both things are true during this time. Some of my earliest memories feeling confident in my life were from Black women. So I did want to just take a moment and thank Black people for their efforts, specifically during this month, and in this video, Black women. Thank you.
Seriously, I'm gonna keep saying this until I die. American culture is Black American culture. It just gets filtered out and watered down and whitewashed until they can give credit to a white guy. Jazz, country, rock and roll, rap, all Black American creation. And then you want to move to the protest side. Bro, not only did Black Lives Matter spark actual other things like Asian Lives Matter and Queer Lives Matter and Trans Lives Matter, but on the flip side, when racists were trying to say, well, Blue Lives Matter, through humanity, what happened is it translated into less of a sarcastic thing and more into a genuine, like, support your nurses and firefighters and EMTs.
But you don't date Spanish guys at all?
No.
Do you have any idea why?
I guess I like, first, I like dark complexion. And it seemed like every dark guy that I ever like, they're African American or Jamaican. I don't even like people I think that like is my race, just because I like to date people that are different from me. Like I like to date people that are not like me. I like their culture. I already know my culture, so I want something new to me.
Art is always political. As the white friend at this event, I'm going to go ahead and say to the women who look like me, to the men who look like me, it's incredibly important to remember that so much of what we love in America comes from Black culture, and white people need to show up for Black people the way they show up to be entertained by Black culture. So given who's in office and given what we're seeing happening to Black and brown communities in our country, we better get our shit.
In this video, there's so much we can learn from this video actually. And one thing stood out for me, it's always important when you're going to talk about people's culture and people's history, and you know, it's always important to approach it first of all, first learning one, two things about them. And also it's also important to ask people who live those experiences, because trust me, they have so much to offer than you. So if you want, or if you're willing to talk about people's culture, it's always important to first ask. And I believe Black Americans had so much influence to the world in entertainment, you know, like music, like jazz, hip-hop, R&B, like those type of music. And obviously far beyond music, there are many Black entrepreneurs, leaders, innovators, business owners, you know. In every aspect of life you can find a Black person and who's successful. Obviously in music, actually I feel like music has acted as a powerful tool over the years, and like first of all a way of storytelling, and obviously as something that unites people across the globe, across cultures and generations. And I feel like music, it's one of the things that actually influences people. It can preserve culture. You can find Black artists who did a great job with that. Obviously, as we have said, the you know, Black influence goes beyond music. It goes beyond music. There are business owners who are Black. There are artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, and there are so many, you know, Black people who, you know, just in past who have worked hard with so much resilience, so that the future generation can see that, you know, working hard or being a good leader and having to to do something well, it's not about race. It's always about ambition, vision. Race have nothing to do with how great you can do something. Obviously there's so many great people, and I feel like every culture, every community has something to offer, and something valuable to offer. And so obviously conversation about culture, history, identity, they can become so emotional. So it's always important to not, when you're going to talk about it, not to have some assumptions when you're going to talk about this conversation. It's always important to approach them with so much empathy and grace, and also knowledge, understanding, and respect, because it can be hard. So if you don't know anything about that, you would rather keep quiet. So one of the important lessons that I feel like I have got from this whole conversation and this whole comments that people have made, it's always important to, before you made broad statement about people's history and community, it's always important to actually know that there are people and many generations who had to struggle and achievements and many contributions. So first learning before you say something about people's history and culture, it's actually giving credits and value to the people who had to struggle and give us so much pain, so that contribution can become reality to many people of that community of Black culture. Obviously when people understand black culture, they obviously something that most people pops up in their head, it's music, which comes from a good point. It have contributed so much in music, as we have said, hip-hop, R&B, and all that. But I feel it goes far beyond understanding that when you're going to say something about culture, history, and everything, it's important and very important to be open and to say when you don't know anything. Obviously we all have something that you don't know. We all have something that you don't know, and there's no problem in saying that I don't know this and that. I feel like people give grace to you instead of just saying something that you don't know. You didn't verify the facts, you didn't read about anything about that. You're even coming from a point which is not good. So I feel like when it comes to that, I feel like every community has something to offer. So when you try to minimize people's achievement, it's actually painful, because trust me, it's actually important to know that there are people who endured so much pain. There is so much resilience, determination that it took for that community to achieve whatever they have. So please, if you don't know anything, it's okay to say that I don't know this, or it's okay to keep quiet instead of just, because this conversation, they're so emotional to many people. And something also you can learn is actually this video is more than one individual. It carries so much weight, and I feel like it have to teach us, all of us, that you have to understand people's culture or history beyond headlines, beyond video clips. Like if you want to know something, you have to go in books and read or discuss with people who live those experiences. As we have seen, every culture has something valuable to offer. Every person has a contribution. So it's always important to replace assumptions with facts, because that's when understanding is actually variable. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you have been informative or educative, or if you have gained one or two things in this video, I would like you to like, share, subscribe, and I hope I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a good one.